I'm not going to lie, the last couple of days haven't been easy. I'm trying to make the play as authentic as possible, and I've been having chats with the cast individually about how best to do that with their characters. Well, that was fine for most people, except for Susan. Now, it states very clearly in the script that Susan's character, Maud, smokes like a chimney. So I simply made the very reasonable request that Susan take up smoking for the duration of the play. She wouldn't even consider it. I don't understand what the big deal is. Sometimes you have to suffer for your art. You know, all I'm talking about is a few cigarettes a day. I mean, what harm can it do? In the end, we managed to reach a compromise and agreed to choose one of those fake cigarettes instead, which is disappointing, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Aside from that small hiccup, I'm very pleased with how rehearsals are coming along. I hadn't quite appreciated the full power of the play until I saw it brought to life on stage. It really is a profound piece of work. Everyone's doing very well, but I have to say that I'm particularly impressed with Indy's performance this summer. Now, she really captures the spirit of the character, and the chemistry between her character and mine is electric. You can almost see sparks fly. And she brings out the best in me. I'm doing some of the best acting that I've ever done. Unfortunately, I have had to compromise on some of my original staging ideas. Turns out they were a little bit more complicated than I envisaged, and, well, a lot of the cast just got confused. For example, at one point, one character in the play is going around in circles, so I wanted to show that visually by having her actually walk around in circles on stage, but she ended up getting so dizzy she almost fell over, so we had to abandon that idea, unfortunately. Great. Yeah. All right then. I'll see you later. Bye. That was India. She's asked me if I'll be interested in giving a careers talk at the local high school she teaches at. Well, I said yes, of course. It's a very exciting opportunity. You know, chance for me to give something back, share some wisdom. Well, it's an honour to be asked, really. I suppose it just goes to show the respect that I inspire in the local community. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what's expected of me, but luckily I took a few improv classes last year, so I'm prepared for anything. It is going to be strange going back to school, although I think Dingbury High is a bit nicer than the school I went to. It was a Catholic grammar, and I think it's fair to say that it was a bit rough around the edges. I can't complain though. It was at school that I first started doing drama, and I haven't looked back since. Apart from that brief period at university, obviously, but that was really just a blip. I've got a lot to be thankful for from those years. The highlight of the year was always the annual school play. That was a lot of fun to be involved in. The only slight problem was that our drama teacher was a bit of a conservative director. He wasn't interested in any of my notes. Still, we would put on a hell of a show, and they still talk about our production of Annie to this day. Or at least I assume they do. I haven't actually been back to ask anyone. I'm just about to head out to meet India for a coffee. I wanted to discuss some thoughts with her about her character, but I figured now that I might as well get some advice for my careers talk as well. You know, kill two birds with one stone. I've always taken the view that there will always be some people who know more than you do, and the best thing that you can do is to listen to them and take their advice. That doesn't apply to everyone, obviously. I can say with 100% certainty that Charles has never known more than me. Well, that was very useful. India's advice was just to be myself and think about what I would have found useful to know at that age. She thought it probably wasn't a good idea to create an immersive experience rather than a talk, and said I was better off just keeping it simple. Which makes sense, I suppose. I think the key thing guiding me in my career has been a desire to combine creativity with computer science. That's why I became a web designer. I started out working for a company, but it wasn't a great fit for me. I found it didn't offer me the freedom to reach my full potential, you know? Plus the coffee was dreadful. I mean, it was really bad. Anyway, now I'm self-employed, so nobody tells me what to do. Well, apart from my clients, obviously. They have to give me quite specific instructions on what to do, otherwise it wouldn't really work. I feel very lucky to be in this position. You know, I have a unique and privileged opportunity to shape young minds. I'm determined to make the most of it. You know, I could very easily be the difference between these students living their dream and them, you know, Not living a nightmare, but I think the key lesson I want to impart is don't be afraid to be yourself. Unless you're not a very nice person, of course. In which case you should probably think quite hard about being somebody else. And the other one is to always follow your dreams, because that's what I did with the Players. And now look at me. I'm writing and directing my own play. Yeah, just goes to show that anything is possible if you want it enough. I realise that's not got anything to do with web design, but I think it's a flexible brief. It's just gone 7 AM. I like to be up early. Find it a good time to write. This is it, my desk. Place where the magic happens. I've been sat here every morning for the past 6 months writing the play. Well, not every morning. Sometimes I had stuff on. You know, there are people who depend on me. I'm in a badminton league, for example, but nearly every morning. Definitely most mornings. I also like to make sure that I allocate myself thinking time as well as writing time. That's why I just sit in my chair and look out the window as I think about what to write. That can last for hours sometimes. A couple of times I've actually nodded off, but dreaming is basically the same as thinking, so I still counted it. I've always preferred to write at home. I know some people like to go to coffee shops and cafes and things like that, but I've never understood that. Why would I want to go to a coffee shop? I can get free coffee here anytime I want. I've just got to go to the kitchen. I might get one there actually. Wow, what an afternoon. I'm really pleased with how the talk went. I think the students found it really valuable. Although I suspect they may have been expecting something more focused on web design. A lot of the questions were about that actually. Still, I'm sure they will have found this a lot more useful. You know, sometimes all people need is for permission to pursue their dreams. And that's what I gave them. And you know, maybe one of their dreams is to become a web designer. God, I hope they didn't take that message away.